has nominated Fox News lady for Surgeon General. Now, I'm being a little unfair. She is a doctor. I'm talking about TV doctor Janette Nesheiwat.
Under Trump, we had a thriving economy. We were energy independent. We had some semblance of organization at the border. And, look at the Abraham's Accord as well.
I love the Abraham's Accord. I was actually thinking of Jeremy's Accord, his Honda Accord. It's in the shop for a new belt. But she's making a good point. Abraham's Accord has a lot of new features.
So all these things that he did for us, our 401s were expanding. You could fill up your gas tank and go out for a movie on Friday night. But we're not seeing that right now.
This is not a serious group of people. Has nominated Fox News lady for Surgeon General. Now, I'm being a little unfair. She is a doctor. I'm talking about TV doctor Janette Nesheiwat. We've talked about her before. The New York Times announces Trump chooses New York doctor to be next U.S. Surgeon General. Dr. Janette Nesheiwat is a medical director for a chain of urgent care clinics. Her sister served as an advisor in the first Trump administration. Trump said on social media that she's committed to ensuring that Americans have access to affordable quality health care and believes in empowering individuals to take charge of their health, to live longer, healthier lives. That is coded language if I've ever seen it. Now, if her name sounds familiar, it's because she is the author of this notorious word salad on Fox News just about 10 months ago. We covered it at the time. This is one of my favorite Dr. Janette clips. This is our potentially incoming Surgeon General. Listen and weep, my friends.
Because all that other stuff is just a distraction. Right now, voters miss the American dream, and the only hope to get that back to reality is President Trump, by looking at those polls. And you just take a look. What has Donald Trump done? We've seen what he's done in his 4 years. Compare that to what President Biden has done. Under Trump, we had a thriving economy. We were energy independent. We had some semblance of organization at the border. And, look at the Abraham's Accord as well.
I love the Abraham's Accord. I was actually thinking of Jeremy's Accord, his Honda Accord. It's in the shop for a new belt. But she's making a good point. Abraham's Accord has a lot of new features.
So all these things that he did for us, our 401s were expanding. You could fill up your gas tank and go out for a movie on Friday night. But we're not seeing that right now. And Americans are...
This is not a serious group of people. I don't know how else to say it.
Wow, wow, wow. If it isn't David the Shaggy Pakman doing his bit once again, right? Coded language from the doctor who Trump has appointed to be Surgeon General. But she speaks in coded language. Did you hear what she was talking about? Just that everybody should have the best health that they can achieve, and to do that for the American public as much as possible. But that's coded language. And then, because the doctor happens to pronounce Abraham's Accord, he decides to make fun of it. That's fine. We always do with everybody. My only question would be, as to David Shaggy the Pac-Man, did you say the same thing when Obama said corpseman? Just wondering, remember? In his speech, corpseman, 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 instead of corpsman? Did you make fun of him at the same time? Coded language? I highly doubt it. But that's what you get from people like David Shaggy the Pac-Man. They just have nothing else to talk about, so they make things up. They lie all the time, what I call the lies of omission. And in this case, what's David trying to do? He is basically trying to say that this person and the people on Fox News, they're not serious people. No, nobody's serious people other than the people that are on the side of David Shaggy the Pac-Man. Now, if there had been a leftist up here who was talking about, hey, we got to go ahead and legalize every single drug that's out there. And you know what? It's perfectly fine for people to take, you know, drugs no matter what. And genders are perfectly fine. And women can go, there's no biological difference between men and women. That would have been the perfect pick for David Shaggy the Pac-Man. But let's see what else David has in store. Let's see what other coded language that David Shaggy the Pac-Man is going to use, since he's already said that the good doctor here is using coded language when she talks. And he said that was a word salad? Word salad? Are you kidding me? You could clearly understand every single thing that she was trying to get across. She was basically saying that when Donald Trump was president the first time around, guess what? People had a lot. They could do a lot. It was completely different than what's happening under the Biden-Harris administration, where people can't do a lot, won't do a lot, don't have the money to do a lot. Anyways, let's continue.
Quite a chapter in my forthcoming book, The Echo Machine, about this. It is now a badge of honor. It's seen as a feature rather than a bug to support those who aren't really experts. Now, okay, she is a doctor, and absolutely she's a doctor. But as we've seen, just being a doctor does not make you a reliable purveyor of public health information, and that's fundamentally the critical part of being Surgeon General. Look at that Florida Dr. Ladapo, anti-vax, anti-fluoride. We're going to talk about that on the bonus show today. Just because you are a doctor doesn't mean that you have even remotely the right instincts when it comes to...
Oh, you mean like Dr. effing Fossey, right? Like that kind of a doctor. Dr. effing Fossey, that's what you're talking. Or Dr. Brickhouse. She's a brick house. Because all she had up in her upstairs were a bunch of bricks, and she was shy a load of bricks. That's what you're talking about, David Shaggy the Pac-Man?
Public health. And of course, the concern is that this is yet another, let me turn on the TV and pick someone that I see there. Oh, I turn on the TV, Pete Hegseth is a veteran. He can be Secretary of Defense.
Absolutely.
Oh, Janette Nesheiwat is a doctor. She can be Surgeon General.
Yes.
RFK talks about vaccines. He can be Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Damn straight.
This is a crisis where it's not just that expertise itself has taken a back seat. They attack expertise and say, we know as well as anybody, and it all comes from the top. This is one of the things, maybe more than anything, that Donald Trump put out there during his first term, which is military generals, Trump knows more. Nuclear physicists, Trump knows more. Doctors, Trump knows more. Public health officials, Trump knows more. He knows more than everybody. And that has now emboldened your average parent to say, I know more about which materials are appropriate for a 7-year-old than professional educators. It has emboldened.
Hey, you stupid, idiotic moron. There you go, attacking parents once again. Parents do know better than those stupid ass educators that are trying to shove all kinds of inappropriate books, inappropriate language, inappropriate teaching down our children's throats, David Shaggy the Pac-Man. That's right. Parents do know better. I don't know. I think if you've got children, David Shaggy the Pac-Man, maybe it's okay for you. Maybe you think that those so-called educators know better than you. And you know what? They probably do know better than you, David. They probably do. So it would be my opinion that you let those educators teach your children all the bullshit that they're teaching in school. But I don't want those educators. I know damn well better, and so do thousands and thousands and thousands of other parents. All you need is some common sense, for crying out loud. That's all it takes. It doesn't take a freaking master's degree or a PhD degree to understand that you guys aren't teaching math, reading, writing, STEM, the sciences, geography, history. No, you want to teach what? Racism, prejudice, critical race theory, genderqueer theory, sexuality, all these things to our children instead of the appropriate content which they need to survive in the world. But yet here goes David Shaggy the Pac-Man saying that, you know what? Parents are stupid. They don't know enough. They're not the experts. This guy, never mind, because I don't want to say something that would get me kicked off of here.
Parents to say, I know more about
We
whether
do.
a kid should get the measles vaccine than my pediatrician.
We
This
do.
is the totality of the crisis of expertise. And I do write about it in the book. Speaking of the book, almost 4,000 pre-orders.
Wow,
We are now
4,000.
entering the territory where New York Times nonfiction bestseller is not just a pipe dream. So thank you to the nearly 4,000 people who have pre-ordered. I spent the weekend signing with Sharpies like this one, signing book plates. Everybody
Wow.
who pre-orders will get a signed book plate. You can pre-order anywhere books, ebooks, and audiobooks are sold. Also want to remind you, we have launched on Kick, the streaming service, kick.com/David Pakman. Even if you want nothing to do with Kick, my small request is just follow us on Kick. It actually is a requirement in order to get a verified monetized channel on Kick to have some followers. We're streaming the show nightly on Kick, kick.com/David Pakman. All right, what is on today's bonus show?
Oh, the bonus show where you and
You know, folks, what else can you say when you hear people like David Shaggy the Pac-Man say the things that he's saying? These are just elitist social justice warriors. They polish their halos every single day. They think they know better than you and I in terms of what life is all about, what family is all about, what we can do, what we can say, what we can eat, what we can watch, what we can think, what we can read, what we can, drive. They think they know everything. These are elitist pieces of just they're scumbag elitists is what they are. And I think David Rubin said it most appropriately when he was on a show, and he basically called David Shaggy the Pac-Man, you smug little prick. I think that sums it up totally. Where David is trying to tell all of us that he and the experts, so-called, know so much better than the average American. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, like, share, and follow, you all know what to do. Love to hear your comments. Put them down below. My final thought is always, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.